What inspires me about Kendra, what inspires me about Kendra is she is so intentional in her day and has her time so well blocked. I see her being intentional with how she structures her workday so she can have a great life. And I think that's the thing many of us miss as professionals. We just go after it so hard and we're so focused on being successful and so focused on doing deals and taking great care of our clients that sometimes we forget about the most important thing, which is our significant others, which is our family. I hang out with Kendra and her husband, Greg, a lot, and I can tell you the most important thing in her life, other than God, is probably her husband, Greg. And I know she goes at that and her son, Corey, and she's been able to have that great work-life balance because of her organization. So, Kendra, I'm honored to be your friend. I'm honored that you would give us an hour of your time, and I just want to let you take it away.
Wow. Well, I'm honored to be here, and gosh, that about brought tears to my eyes. We all aspire to have a friend like Chad that would lift you up and elevate you, though. So thank you, Chad, for offering me to come today. Really quick story about myself is that I too am a realtor like you all, and was able to build a fabulous business because of the time management. But let me assure you that I wasn't always this organized and detailed. Sometimes I just cut a video that says pain makes us change. And the pain for me was I was not giving my family the best of me. They were literally getting what was left of me. It almost cost me my marriage. And that was the punch in the gut that I really needed to say, listen, at the end of the day, I want to be with the people that love me and elevate me, help me be a better person. And not that our clients don't do that, but guys, there has to be an on and off switch. There has to be a time that you're a realtor, but there has to be a time when you're with your family or your friends or your coworkers or whatever you're passionate about. So what I share with you today is I'm a work in progress, okay? So I don't have it 100% figured out, but I strive to be the best I can because there's two things I know for sure. God is not giving us any more hours in the day, okay? We all have the same 24. And the second thing that I'm going to tell you is God's not making any more land. So if you want to get your fair share of real estate sales, you got to get out there early, you got to get it done, and then you got to go home and live the best life you can. So that's where I'm going to start today is how do we get it all done? And I will say this probably 2 or 3 times throughout this talk today, but if you can master your time block schedule 80% of the time, you're a master. Now, I know that most of us say, oh my gosh, we'd have to be 100% to be a master, and that's just not true. That's not realistic because other people and other things affect our time, right? So we're not 100% in control of our time. We can control how we deal our time out, but we are not 100% in control of our time because other people play a part in that. So there's a fire, there's an emergency, a team member doesn't show up, a family member gets sick, COVID happens, right? So we are not 100% in control at all times. So 80% is our goal. And when we finish up today, we're going to say, hey, I want you to start at a 50%, okay? So we're going to work on a perfect time block schedule before we're done today. And if you can master that 50% for the next couple weeks, then we'll go to 55 and 60. And listen, by the end of the week, you could be pretty close to 80%. Going into the new year, having a new schedule that you can own 80% of the time will be a huge change for you, okay? So that's where we're going to start. So if I can help you get some more hours in your day, okay, and what will we fill those days with and those hours with? I want it to be prospecting, so we're going to talk about that. So if I get you more hours and use that hour to prospect, what will happen to your income? Give me a thumbs up or a thumb down. What's going to happen with our income, right? It's going to go up. So at the end of the day, if you can work less hours and make more money, are we all in? We're all in, right? All right, so that's where we're going to start. So before we can figure out how to be more efficient with our time and what we're really worth per hour, we're going to do a quick exercise. This is for your eyes only. We're almost at the end of the year, so you could use 2019 or you can use 2020, but we want to talk about what is your taxable income, okay? Now, realtors, I am one of you, so when I dog on us, I'm dogging on myself, and this is really not a dog, but we're not talking about GCI because GCI is crap. We all know that. That doesn't mean anything. So income, taxable income. What'd you make in 2019 or where are you at year to date, okay? And then I want you to take that number and divide it by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. And then we're going to take that number again and divide it by 160. That's a 40-hour work week, 4 weeks in a month. Now, circle that number really big. Let me give it to you again. Taxable income divided by 12 divided by 160. That's income for the year divided by the month divided by the weeks and the hours to get you, what are you worth an hour? Circle that number. If you like that number, then keep doing what you're doing, because that's what you're worth an hour. And if you don't like it, you're in the right place, because I'm going to give you some ways to change it. All right, so now you know what you're worth an hour. So when somebody comes up to your office, when we're all back in the office, right, or somebody's texting you or blowing up your phone, that dirty dog realtor did this, or this person stole my whatever, or somebody with a bad attitude filling your day, you need to go, I'm worth X dollars an hour. I don't have time for that. There's not room for that in my day. I don't have time to gossip. I don't have time to do those things that I don't get paid to do, right? And so what I want to say right here is one of my famous quotes, and I don't know where it came from. I'm making it famous because I tell it all the time. If you don't respect your time, no one else will. If you don't respect your time, no one else will. So I'm the girl that goes to the doctor. Ladies, you know who we are. We have to get undressed, and we're sitting with a freezing little white sheet of paper, and they make us sit there 30 or 40 minutes. I'm not the one. 15 minutes. You're 15 minutes late. I have got to get dressed and get out of there because my schedule is that tight, right? So if we were all paid by the hour, oh my gosh, right? Just think about these attorneys that get billed for the hour. Some of our deals take us hours and hours and hours. We'd be working for peanuts on the dollar. Those aren't clients we should spend a lot of time on. There's somebody else that won't drain us and disrespect our time so we can keep our hour per dollar figure at a higher rate, okay? So if you don't respect your time, no one else will. Tip number 1. All right, so let's jump in. How do we own our time better? The first tip I'm going to tell you is you have to have a start time and you have to have a go home time. You have to have a start time and you have to have a go home time. Probably the biggest issue we as realtors have is nobody tells us what time to come to work. And nobody tells us what time to go home. So we're like, oh, we're just going to send one more email. And then one more email goes to 5 more emails. Or I'm just going to return one more text. And that text leads to 3 more texts. You can't do that anymore. Guys, listen, at the end of the day, on this call, the person who controls our deals is Chad or one of his LOs, Tom or Mike or any of these LO guys that work at Summit. They really control the money. So when they go home at 5 or 5:30 at night, why do we feel like we should keep working till 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night? We don't control the purse. We don't have the money, right? And so I love when people say, well, my clients want to text me when they get off work at 7:30 at night. Okay, so what you're saying yes to them, you're saying no to something else. So when you said yes to that client that didn't want to talk to you on his lunch hour, biggest asset of his lifetime, can't take 15 minutes to call you during work hours, but he'll call you at 7:30. You just said to your family, well, this call is more important than you are. So when you work with clients, and we're going to talk about people who know, like, and trust you, when you work with people who know, like, and trust you, they will respect your time. I love when people call over the weekend and they say, hey, Chad told me to call you, but I know you don't work on the weekend, so just call me Monday. I'm like, hallelujah, right? Versus if you don't call me back in the next 15 minutes, I'll find somebody else that will. Now, we all have clients like that, right? They don't respect your time. So what you just said to them is I give you full control over me and this transaction from the start forever. Forever. Okay? So start time and go home time. Okay? Now let me finish out the go home time with this. You tell your spouse, partner, family member, friend, whoever, that I'll be home at 5:30. And 5:40 rolls around. And 5:45 rolls around. And 5 till 6 rolls around. And then you're pulling in the garage. What did you just say to that person? I'm way more important than you are. You can just wait. Now, at the end of the day, who's going to be there? When we have a hard month, when we suffer a loss, when we get sick with COVID or something else, those clients, most of them, unfortunately, won't be there, but your family will. And I know that seems a little drastic, but at the end of the day, you got to start thinking like that. I got to own my time. I got to respect the people that are going to be there for me when no one else will. That's your start time and your go home time. Okay, so that's tip number one. Block out your schedule. Every day I'm going to be in at 8:30, and every day I'm leaving at 6, except Wednesday I'll work till 7:30. Get that approved with your spouse or partner. I'm going to work one night, maybe 2 nights late, but everybody knows what the schedule is when you have a start time and a go home time. All right, number two.
Real quick, Kendra, for you.
Yeah.
That's been a huge change for me. I know that's something you gave me probably 2 years ago. I do have a night. It's Tuesday nights where I just go. My wife, Kristen, knows, like, hey, I got to give Chad that one night. I usually go till 8, 9 o'clock at night. She's been bought in because it's just that one night now, not every night, right? So she's okay with Tuesday late night buy-in. There's nights I go till midnight. It's happened before, but I don't disrespect her time on the other days, right? I'm dialed in on those times I say I'm going to go home. So guys, if you do need a late night, like Kendra's saying, get it approved. It's a huge change, and it's really helped me out. If you take nothing else away from today, that is a big one.
Perfect. All right, the next one you guys are going to say, oh, this is so antiquated. She's a dinosaur. Yes, I'm old. I get it. But this is one of the best tips I'll give you today. You have to print your time block schedule every day. This is my schedule today. Okay? Does anybody see any white space in there? No. So guess what? I look up, it's 12:05. I'm like, whew, lunch. I look up again, and it's 5 o'clock, and I'm running out the door. Listen, you guys, you have to print your time block schedule. Okay, this is what we're going to work on today, is you blocking the time and sticking to it. There's Chad's, right? So here's the thing that you have to remember. If it's on our this little thing that gets us in all kinds of trouble, your phone, it's too easy when it pops up and says, oh, it's time for power hour, and we go swipe left, swipe right. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to do that today. And the things that are most important that you're swiping on are your family, are your power hour, meeting with yourself. So listen, if you could see this, I don't even know if you can, but after every appointment, I check it off. I'm a task master. So you can see right now I'm at 2 o'clock and I'm in Chad's webinar. Okay. So when I'm done with Chad's webinar, I check it off. It's kind of like the day before you go on vacation. You know how much you get done the day before you go on vacation because you have that list. I got to get this. I got to do that. I got to drop off the dog. I got to pick up this. I got to go to the dry cleaner. And we get everything done and we leave the next day on vacation. We're like, wow, I had the most productive day ever yesterday. What if every day you worked like you were going on vacation tomorrow? How efficient would you be? That's really what your time block schedule does. So if you're a taskmaster, I highly recommend check it off. At the end of the day, when I leave, I feel truly fulfilled and accomplished that everything on my list is marked off. Now, you probably saw all the little notes on the side. That's when I check my voicemail or things I need to delegate. I write them right on here. As I check them off, I cross them out. And when I go home in the afternoon, there's nothing left on that schedule. I am done and out the door. Okay, so tip number 2, print your time blocked schedule. Okay.
I think you're onto a book there. What if you worked every day like it was the day before vacation? That is Kendra Cooke's next book.
I want to write a few. I got a bunch of good titles. All right. The other thing you might have noticed about that is it's color coded. Okay. So, funny story. If it's personal time, it's purple. That's my favorite color. Okay. Two things I don't like, and if you're a University of Tennessee fan, you'll laugh, but I don't like the UT Vols. They're my rivalry, and I don't like paperwork, but I'm really good at it. So when you see orange on my schedule, it's because I'm doing paperwork. So that's kind of, I just make it a game for myself. If it's coaching, it's blue. If it's business calls or prospecting, it's green because it's money time for me. So I play a game with myself. So if you don't have some color-coded times on your schedule, play some games with yourself. You know what time your go-home time is. It's going to be your favorite color. Put on your schedule. Get the heck out of there. The other tip about your time block schedule is have 30-minute windows 3 times a day for catch-up. 3 times a day, you need a catch-up because, guys, people don't respect our time, so they show up late. We get behind. You get 5 minutes behind, then you're 10 minutes behind. Before you know it, by lunch, you don't even get a lunch because you are behind. It's not acceptable, okay? So the first thing on my schedule every morning, check my email, check my voicemail, get ready for my day, okay? That is also in the middle of the day, either before or after my lunch hour, and then before I go home at 5 o'clock. It says check your email, check your voicemail, okay? I look at my schedule to see what I need to wear to work the next day, right? Can I be a little more casual? Do I need a business suit? As you see, I'm in a dress. I was telling Chad we're doing Spirit Week, so I'm really dressed in a pair of running pants and tennis shoes underneath this dress. You just wouldn't know it. I had on a costume a few minutes ago. But I need to be prepared for my day. So at 5 o'clock, that's what I'm looking at is my schedule for the next day to make sure I have everything I need and I'm ready to go. So 3 blocks, about 30 minutes for catch-up time is crucial to make sure that you stay on task throughout the day. All right, so that's my tips for your time block schedule. Anything you want to add there, Chad?
Yeah, I just wanted to reemphasize that point because it's been a big shift in my businesses. I think we're always trying to do the last thing of the day and do one more thing, but I found myself to be much more productive at the end of the day if I write the 3 or 4 things that either I have the blessing of having a team. For those that have a team, it's great just to write down what you need to delegate in your team meeting the next morning. If you don't have a team, just, hey, these are the next 3 or 4 things that I have to accomplish the next day.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. Next tip. Change your voicemail every day. Now, if you're listening to my voice, you know it's not the most wonderful singing voice or speaking voice. None of us like to hear our voice. So cut your voicemail every day and don't listen to it, okay? Now, what's the purpose of that? Let your clients know when you'll be returning calls. So just put yourself in your client's position and you're negotiating a deal for them and they're anxious. Are we going to get to relocate? Am I not? Is the wife going to be a trailing wife? The husband's going on. They're freaking out. So everything is escalated for them, right? Everything is an emergency for them. So you're out with a client. They call at 8:30. You don't call them back. They call at 10. You don't call them back because you've got your other client in your car, right? By 12 o'clock, the last message is, oh my God, you must not care. My family's over here freaking out. You're not returning my calls. You just created an issue that's going to be a time suck for you when all you had to do was prepare them for when you would be calling them back. So changing your voicemail every day sets the expectation of when you'll be returning voicemails. Now, you want to talk about a time suck. If every time your phone rings, you answer it, whether you're on the road, in an appointment with someone, in the middle of dinner with your family, it's not acceptable, you guys, right? So let's think about this. You call your doctor and he's in surgery and he picks up the phone while he's operating on me, I'm going to be really mad, okay? We're dealing with something as big as life, their biggest asset, all right? So don't talk to me when you're with another client in your car, number one. So set the expectation. I'm going to be out with clients this morning. I'll be returning calls between 12 and 1 and again between 4 and 5. Guess what? When she left that first message and she heard that you weren't calling anybody back because you were out with a client you'd be calling back between 12 and 1, guess what? The second and the third message would have never happened. So now you've got the voicemail, you're at your desk or you're with your file in front of you. When you call her back, you can answer her questions. The other thing that really drives me crazy about our industry is we're so ill prepared, right? So we're driving down the interstate, we're trying to eat our chicken nuggets, we've got our cell phone on here if you don't have Bluetooth, or you're, doing 9 different things, and somebody calls you and asks about your listing. And you say, oh gosh, I don't have that in front of me, I can't remember what the HOA fee is, but if you'll call me back and leave me a voicemail, then I'll call you when I get to my office. How efficient is that? Not at all, right? Again, you call my voicemail and says, hi, this is Kendra Cooke with Cooke Realty Partners. I'm going to be out of my office this morning with a client, returning calls between 12 and 1, and again between 4 and 5 this afternoon. If you leave a message, I promise to return your call before I head home tonight. Any calls received after 6 p.m. will be returned the next business day. Thank you so much for your call. Make it a great day. Now, if you don't have an assistant, that's your message. If you have an assistant, it starts the same way, and it says, for a faster response, contact my assistant at 704-237-8696, and I'll be glad to take great care of you or schedule a time for us to talk. Now they don't even have to wait. They can hang up and call her. Now, if I could see all of you, I love to do this when I do live talks, but if I told you all to raise your right hand and stick your index finger up in the air and twirl it around like you just don't care, you would all do that because I told you to do it, right? So if you tell the client to leave a message, then let them leave the message and call them back in a timely manner. This is a huge time suck that we grab our phone every time, we're not prepared, and then we have to do a follow-up call or somebody has to call back and leave you a message. Don't do that. Okay? Don't answer your phone when you're with someone else. Change your voicemail every day, and then stick to the guidelines. When you say you're going to return calls, return your calls. Big, big game changer for most of us in this. Okay?
One thing real quick there, Kendra, because you've taught me so much on this. I will tell you guys, I have not been as dialed in as long as Kendra has and has been in her past. But I was fearful about making that shift of, hey, I always got to be available for my clients. And I wore it like a badge of honor. Like it was this great thing that I was always available to them. And in my mind, I thought I had to be. I found I've been treated more like a professional when I not push back, but tell them my availability. I'm with my family on Sundays. I'm not going to be available, right? I'm not available after 6 o'clock. I'm eating dinner with my family. Leave a message and I'll call you back after that. I found I get better clients that are more respectful of me and that come back more often since I've made that shift.
Yes, and let me add this to this, you guys. You should write both of these words on your pieces of paper. On the left side, write the word scarcity, and on the right side, write the word abundance. Okay? Scarcity creates chaos, and it creates fear, and it creates a lack of systems. And so when we fall prey to that, we get haphazard. We're not sticking to our time blocks. We're not respecting our family members. And when we go to that abundance side, we have structure and we stick to our schedule, and there's a lack of that chaos, and we know we're working a plan that's going to work. So think about that when you write those two words down. Where do you live right now? And then where do you want to go? And if you're in scarcity right now and you live in that fear that you have to grab the phone every time it rings because we don't know where the next deal is going to come from, I'm going to share a few tips with you before we hang up today that says, hey, let's shift that mindset. Let's get to the point where we work from that abundance mentality that, hey, I have a system every day and I stick to that system and the leads start coming and it gives you that sense of peace. Got to get out of that chaos, right? We all know somebody in real estate who's burned out. You guys know the average realtor is licensed 13 months. That's a National Association of Realtors statistic. So if you've made it past 13 months, half the battle's done, right? Now we got to fix it so we don't live 15 years or 20 years in chaos, okay? So I don't have a great story. I was a work addict. I like to tell people I have an addictive personality. I'm either running an addiction or I was working in an addiction. I don't thank God have anything too horrible, but I was disrespecting my family because I needed one more deal because I lived in all that fear that if I didn't answer my phone, could I pay my bills? Would I lose it all? You know, would people not work with me if my face wasn't everywhere? So I'm spending all this money and I'm disrespecting my family. And what I found was I was unhealthy. I was unhappy. My family didn't really like me. And when I shifted my mindset to, hey, I'm going to put a system in place, and if I really stick to that system and I do it with some structure and some discipline for 90 days and nothing changes, okay, but I've got to start somewhere. And as I started shifting, the peace came, and then the marriage got fixed, and I got healthy. And it just, you got to get out of that scarcity mindset. It creates a lot of bad habits. So write those two words down and reflect on those. When you get in that chaos, be like, oh, I got to get rid of that and I got to get back over here to that abundance. Because let me assure you, there is enough business for all of us. People are going to buy and sell houses in the best of markets, in the worst of markets. And if you build really good advocates for you that love to work with you, that are wowed by your service and know that you care for them, those referrals are going to keep coming. It doesn't matter what is happening in politics or money or the market or COVID. It blows me away that I get to be the senior real estate coach here and that we have 123 top level realtors around the country. And I think we only have about 5 or 6 that are not having their best year ever. Now you guys think about that. You all are living in shut-in. I have many students in your market. I know your market very well, right? So when we talk about people breaking records who have had to come out with PPE stuff and who have had to do Zoom meetings and who have had to change their listing presentations because we can't drop them off, we will adapt, we will pivot, we will change, we will fix this market, whatever we're in, because we're resilient. So don't let yourself go back to those bad habits of scarcity. Stay in your mindset of there's plenty to go around and I'm going to come from a sense of abundance. All right, that really wasn't in my talk today, but hopefully that helps some of you that are living in that chaos a little bit. All right, moving right along. So first thing on your schedule every morning, check your voicemail, check your email. The next thing should be team meeting. Now, Some of you are like, oh, I don't have to listen to this. I'm not a team. Team of 1, team of 2, team of 20. You need a team meeting every single morning. Okay. And what does that look like? It looks like looking at your time block schedule. I have a closing. Do I have the HUD statement? I have a Zoom call. Do I have the link on my schedule? I need to do power hour. Do I have my call list? Who am I calling today? What am I saying? I have a listing presentation. Are the comps accurate? Do I have the paperwork I need? Guys, you need to meet with yourself. What happens is the biggest time suck for us a lot of times is that we're disorganized, right? It's the 5 minutes before we're running out to our appointment, then we're like, oh, we don't have the comps. Then we have to stop and print the comps. We run to the printer, it's out of ink. Then you got to get the OA to get the ink in the printer. I mean, it's always chaos, right? So sit down in the morning, look at your schedule, say, I've got the HUD statement. Here's the Zoom link. I've got my listing packet ready. I've got the closing gift I need. I'm ready to rock and roll. Be organized. We don't send our kids to school haphazard, or most of the time we don't. So don't send yourself into battle every day, not armored and suited with the tools and the tips and the things that you need to be successful, because it only creates havoc for yourself. All right. So a team meeting of 1, who's on first? If you have a team, delegate the things that you need to get off of your plate, right? Be firm, clear, direct. Make sure your delegation is who they're calling or taking care of, why they're doing it, what, when, where, and why, right? Don't just say, print my comps. Well, print the comps for Chad and Kristen. I'm going to meet with them tomorrow about a price reduction on their house via Zoom. That took me, 4 seconds versus just barking orders. Get your team to buy into the vision, okay? So if you have a team, you can delegate there. It eliminates distractions throughout your day. If you don't have a team, delegate to yourself. Am I prepared for my day? I promise when you start on that right foot, most of us can end the day on a pretty good foot if we're prepared, okay? All right, next one. This can never come off your calendar. Write it down, circle it, highlight it, power hour. If you want to make more money and stop riding the roller coaster of real estate, this is the key. This is the key. It will save you time. It will save you heartache. It will save you money. It will make you more money, okay? So I want to go somewhere real quickly in your mind. If you've ever seen an assembly line, I only know an assembly line, and it's where they make Nissan cars in my hometown in Tennessee. And I went there on some field trips with my kid, and this has probably been in my repertoire for, 10 or maybe 12 years. But when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's kind of like real estate. Like there's an assembly line in real estate. So in real estate, we have 3 stops, in my opinion, okay? So the first one is we've got to get the product to put it on the line. So if you've ever seen an assembly line, you know it keeps going. It never stops, right? So the mechanic, the little engineer guy, robot, whatever you want to call him, puts the product on the line, in the middle, something happens, and then it falls off, and it just keeps going, right? So our first stop in real estate is our product. This is where we do our power hour. This is where we go on listing appointments. This is where we show houses. This is where we do open houses. This is where you call your database, okay? We are looking for product. We are looking for buyers and sellers to put on the assembly line. Stop number 1. Then we run down to stop number 2, and that's service. This is where we write the offers, we go to the inspections, we negotiate the repairs, we let the appraisers in, all the service industry stuff that we've got to take care of in the middle. And then we run down to stop number 3, and that's our closing. This is where most of us feel like we get paid and we show up as the hero and we get to hand off the keys and we show up with this fabulous closing gift. And when you look back down at stop number 1, who's down there? I know everybody's muted. Chad, who's down there?
The new client.
Nobody.
Nobody. Should be the new client.
Right? Because if I'm spending my time in service and in closing, I'm not down there prospecting. Because what's the first thing that we're all willing to take off our calendar every day? Prospecting. We don't want to be rejected. We don't want to look desperate. Let me help you. You are. I hope some of you chuckled. We are desperate. We have house payments to make. We have kids to put through school and college. We have to pay our bills. So we have to stop saying, oh, the business just falls in my lap. Oh, I don't want to prospect. I don't want to look desperate. That's baloney. We are in sales. Our job is to generate leads the bulk of the time, right? So what I find most realtors do is we don't want that rejection, and we don't want to call our database. We don't want to take the no, and we don't want to look desperate. So we stay in service. We stay over here. Well, I'll push the papers from this side of my desk to that side of my desk, and I'll cut a video, and I'll talk to my friends in the kitchen, and I'll go to an open house luncheon. And then this is what your business looks like. Oh my gosh, I had my best month ever. Oh my gosh, I hope Chad has a luncheon and feeds me again. Oh my gosh, I had my best month ever. Now I'm living on my credit cards, right? So if I could see all of your hands and we were being honest, we've all had that in our business. Best month ever, terrible month. Best month ever, terrible month. Best month ever, right? Don't we want to eliminate that with some consistency? Hey, if I'm closing 4 or 5 and I have a 3 and then I have a 4 or 5 and then I have a 3, and then we can all live with that. You can budget with it. You can plan a team to hire to help you with that. But when you're doing 6 and blank and 7 and blank and 7 and 2, and how do you hire a team? How do you budget for that? How do you plan for that? You don't. So how do we eliminate that? We spend at least 2 hours every day in stop number 1, which is prospecting. So your power hour is my next tip for you that you can never, ever, ever remove from your schedule. Now, you want to have more time, you want to get more done, block those 2 hours every day. And here's what you will find. When you start consistently power houring, pushing through, overcoming your fear, making those calls, asking for people's help, the leads will come. And it will generate enough income for you to hire somebody to sit in service. Guys, we're not really good here anyway, okay? We go here to hide. We're not really good here. So if you can hire somebody that can type up your repair amendment and prepare your contract documents and can call your seller and say, is it okay if we have an open house this weekend, and run and get the closing gift and all this stuff that happens right here, and you can spend a minimum of 2 hours a day down here, you can really look like a hero in stop number 3. But when you're doing everything and you're worried about where the next deal's coming from, you're going to go into stop number 3 stressed out, fearful, and coming in hot, right? You might have a closing gift, you might not. It depends on if you had time to get it, right? So we have to really, really, really own the fact that we are lead generators. Lead generation is what we get paid to do, okay? You can hire people to take care of the details, but you cannot hire people to sell you. You're the product. So you have to sell yourself. Now, let me tell you 3 reasons people don't refer you, okay? 3 reasons people don't refer you. Number 1 is you don't ask. Goes back to that, I don't want to look desperate. I don't want them to think I'm just calling for business. Get over that, okay? You don't ask. Number 2, they don't know how to refer you. This is your job. So when you're talking to people who know, like, and trust you, and you've just gone through a transaction with them, hey, Chad, who else do you know that needs to buy or sell real estate right now? And Chad's going to say, oh, I don't know anybody right now, but I always, do my best. So that's where you teach them how to refer you. Well, Chad, I know your girls are super active. They're in dance. They go to church. So when you're hanging out with parents of kids at dance or at church and you hear somebody saying, hey, my parents are thinking about moving here, or my husband's up for a big, promotion, we might need to relocate. Those are perfect clients for me. Would you be willing to connect me to those people? That would make my business just, boom. And that's what I love to do, is work with referrals from clients just like you, right? So I just put Chad in the location of where Chad could find somebody to refer me. Now, you guys need to understand, not every business lives by referrals, okay? So when we say, oh, they should know to refer me, well, if their business doesn't live by referrals, live and die by referrals, how would they know you needed one if you didn't educate them and ask them for help, okay? And the third reason people don't refer us is they are not wowed by our experience. So we are that agent who's trying to do 1, 2, and 3, and we're running haphazardly, and we're missing deadlines, and we're calling late at night, and we're making a lot of excuses because we're distracted. Nobody wants to work with someone like that. So if the experience for them is not great, why would they want to put somebody else in that situation, right? So you have to generate enough leads to keep your pipeline full all the time. And if you don't keep that on your schedule, you are going to bring more chaos to yourself, like we've been talking about. You're going to have those ups and downs. It's a struggle. So You want to get it all done, generate for leads at least 2 hours every single day. That's a buyer in your car, that's a listing appointment, and those are outbound calls, minimum 2 hours a day every single day. Okay?
Kendra, could I add one thing there?
Yeah,
I
please.
love the exercise that you did at the beginning with our hourly rate.
Yes.
I can tell you that since I learned this lesson, for me, it's 30 outbound calls a day. I have to make it. I've been able to hire a team to cater to my clients around that since I understood this lesson, and my hourly rate has gone up 4 times. And it's just that simple structure that you gave me probably 6 years ago now, that my power hour of outbound calls to past clients, to realtors, to my VIPs. That is where I make my money, and that is when my hourly rate goes up, is when I'm consistent with that power hour. So what would be some examples that the agent's on? What are some of those lists that they could call on?
Awesome. So that's what I'm going to cover next. So we have the plan for you. Okay. So just what Chad is saying, I want to take that step one a little bit further, and then I'm going to tell you who to call and what to say, and we'll wrap up for some Q&A if you guys want to ask some questions. But I need you to think about what your average transaction per deal is. Okay, so I'm going to do easy math. So power hour 2 hours today, I get 2 leads, and my average commission is $5,000 a deal net. So I made 10 grand in 2 hours that I'll fill in 30 to 60 days. So what's going to happen to my hourly rate? It's going to double, and then it's going to triple, and then before you know it, you're going to be up 4 times, which is exactly the scenario I was going to share with you, and Chad did it for me. Guys, you got to start thinking like that. If I can work less hours and make more money, I get to go home and be with the people that I want to be with, right? So you got to start thinking about that. If you could power hour 2 hours every day and generate 2 leads, your average deal is X. What happens over the next 60, 90, 120 days to your hourly wage? Okay. All right. So who to call and what to say. I'm going to run through these really quick. The core has theme days. Obviously, you guys know about the core. You've been around Chad long enough to know. But the easiest thing about the core is we give you the plan. You just have to follow the plan, right? Most of us don't do these things because we don't know where to start, right? Or we don't have someone holding us accountable. We provide that too. But more importantly, like, who do I call and what do I say? So on Monday, we call our VIPs. Who's a VIP? Anyone who's very important in your life. So the ultimate goal is to come up with 50 people that are already in your database that have the opportunity to refer you multiple times in a year. Okay? This could be your financial planner. This could be the person who does your hair. This could be your painter. This could be your lender. This could be your doctor. This could be your private banker. This could be your title company. We are looking for people who have businesses that can refer you, as well as your family members. Now, don't forget that your parents need to know what you do. Sometimes they forget as well, right? We have kids that are, my stepdaughter is getting married, so she's in that age of where people her age are starting to buy their first home. It's a great referral source. I don't ever want to forget to remind her that, hey, I need your referrals. I have a 22-year-old son. He's graduating college. He's going to know people buying houses. He hangs out with an older crowd. I need him to remember that. So people that are very important to you in your family, personal life, and then in your business life, okay? Take that list of 50, divide it in 4s, and that's who you call on Monday. You call 1/4 of your VIP list. You're building rapport. Remember, in the core, we talk about how to build rapport is the acronym FORD, Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams. Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams. Okay? We want to ask them, do they know anybody that's looking to buy or sell? And we need to see if there's anything that we can do to help them grow their business. Okay? That's your Monday call. Pretty easy. You're talking to people that know, like, and trust you, that are fun. So this should not be a hard day. Okay? Go through your database, come up with 50 people that are really important, divide them in 4s, call them once a month. Pretty easy. Okay? Tuesday, status call. Number one complaint at NAR is I listed my house with a realtor and I never heard from him again. Don't be that realtor. Communication is our biggest problem in real estate. You're going to call them every Tuesday. You're going to set that expectation. When they sign a buyer's rep agreement with you, when they sign a listing agreement with you, when they're under contract with you, all your current clients you call on Tuesday. Even if you don't have anything to say, you call them on Tuesday. Okay? So, hey, we didn't have any showings this week. This is what we put on social media. This is what's happening in your market. This is what's going on in your neighborhood. You be proactive. Stop sitting back waiting for your clients to call you. It doesn't fare well for referrals, okay? You're going to be proactive. Tuesday, we call our current active clients. On Wednesday, we call hot leads, try to schedule appointments for the weekends, and our old leads that maybe you're incubating, maybe they're painting their house, maybe they're cleaning up some credit with Chad and his team. Figure out who are your hottest leads and your oldest leads and connect with them on Wednesday, right? Thursday is my favorite day. I tell my students all the time, stop stepping over dimes to pick up pennies. Most realtors would rather buy leads and call cold leads and chase cold leads than to call people in their database because they don't want to look desperate. Please, please, please move past that. We are in a service industry where people who know, like, and trust you want to help you. So write these words down. I need your help. I need your help. I need your help, right? So on Thursday, we call our database. We've made the system very simple for you. If you want to start this week, it's Monday, perfect time. Print everybody in your database that has a last name that starts with an A. Print them out. Print your call list and call through. Mr. Adams, Mr. Appleton, Mr. whoever, okay, Anderson. Talk to them, left a voicemail. You are staying in touch with people who know, like, and trust you. Update your database with the notes. Next week, you call the B's. The next week, you call the C's. Guess what? You can go through your entire database in a full year twice. Twice. Remember, acronym FORD, Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dream. How are your family? Are you still working at Dell? Anything going on at Dell I should know about? What are you guys doing? The holidays are coming up. Are you traveling? Are you staying close to home? If you could change one thing about your home, what would it be? Those are dream type questions, right? Can I provide you with a referral? Do you need painters? Do you need landscapers, right? Provide value, ask for a referral, hang up, okay? On Friday, we are looking for more people to add to that Monday VIP list. So we're calling business people. We're looking for divorce attorneys. We're looking for probate attorneys. We're looking for financial planners. We're looking for people who have the opportunity to refer you multiple times. You've got to work on those. That's a nurturing pillar of our business, right? It's not going to happen overnight. So you got to make sure that this is a drip campaign type call on Friday. Call them once a month, just like you call your VIPs, but we're trying to build new business relationships. All right. So that's your Monday through Friday call list. No excuses. Now you know who to call and you know what to say so you can start getting more leads. So it's not that scarcity mindset all the time. We're going to move to that abundance.
Can I add one thing there, Kendra? And this is to give you a little honor too.
For it.
So Kendra and I both work with a financial advisor. He's one of the top 50 financial advisors in the entire country. I was doing a webinar with him for my clients, and I asked him after we got off, I said, hey, how many professionals call you to get your business? And then I asked, how many realtors call you to get your business? He said, Kendra's the only one that has.
Well, let me tell you a funny story. So Jeff lives in Michigan, has a house in Florida. I have a house in Tennessee and a house in Charlotte. So we don't live in the same market, right? And I'm always asking him, like, he has clients all over the country. And so right after I moved to Charlotte, he introduced me to a pretty famous race car driver. And I was able to make a connection here and get a referral fee on a house he sold here. And then he was moving to Nashville, so I was able to refer him to my team back home. So we bought a tear down, and he's about to close. It'll be the biggest sale I've ever been paid on in March. So 3 transactions from a person who doesn't even live here. We don't even live in the same town. So you got to stop thinking that person can't help me, right? You got to open your doors, and you got to rely on business people to really help you grow your business. They're just like you. They need leads too, right? So they're not offended, or it's not a big deal when you call and ask them for their help. Okay.
The worst thing about a divorce is 2 people are ending their marriage. The best thing about a divorce is they don't care about price. They don't care about commission rates. They just want to get away from each other and start their own lives. And unfortunately, because of COVID, I'm doing more of those deals than ever. But I got to tell you, it usually turns into 2 or 3 deals. And in the end, you are helping someone move on to the next step of their life. And I found them to be great referral sources too.
They are. Absolutely. So I want to wrap this up really quickly. Two things we haven't talked about. You are going to get a blank time block schedule for being here. Chad has a blank one and also a sample one that he can share with you. Okay. So it gives you some ideas if you're closing under 5 deals, how you can set up your time block schedule with the catch up times, your start time, your go home time, all of that is in there. If you're doing more than 5 deals, I have another separate one for you. So I'm going to send those to Chad and he's going to send them out to those of you that were here today as a gift for being here. A couple things we've not talked about. Self-love has to be on your daily schedule. Self-love. You cannot be good for anyone else if you're not good for yourself, whether that's meditation, workout, Bible study, whatever you do to take care of yourself, it starts there every single day. So I want to make sure that that is on your time block schedule, and then your family time. Chad talked a lot about my family. I did a lot of things wrong until my son was about 6 when I found the core, and I'm grateful that I was able to fix that and make that relationship so much better. And you can't get that time back. So his senior year in high school, I picked him up every Friday. He was one of those kids that didn't want to drive. And so every Friday I was able to pick my child up at school at 2 o'clock, and we had a date every Friday. We laser tag, rock climbing wall, you name it, I've done it, shopping, coffee drinking, eating bad food. But he and I are so connected at 22. He's graduating college, and I have no doubt that he has an amazing foundation. So guys, listen, guys and gals, take that time for your family, your spouse, your partner. The core made me have a date night. It literally saved my marriage. Coming up on 25 years of marriage to my forever partner. And listen, I could have blown all that. So kid time needs to be in your schedule, self-love, and your partner. And the last thing I want to say as we wrap this up, and I'll open it up for Q&A, is, guys, some of you on here maybe are ready for a team. And maybe you're fearful about, hey, I could do so much more if I could leverage some of this paperwork off of me, or where do I start? Listen, that is something the core does really well, is we teach you who to hire, when to hire, how to hire them, how to pay them, how to train them. I mean, I have the first 100 days of how to train an RP1, which is a Realtor Partner 1, an admin, okay? Whether it is a TC that you're hiring or a listing coordinator, what books to have them read to learn to cater to your clients. I mean, it's all in the training guide. So if you're sitting on the fence thinking, gosh, I really would love to do half of this, but I don't have time, it starts with hiring help. So you may be at that time you're ready to talk about that. I would love to spend some time with you. You can email me, Kendra@thecoretraining.com, or you can go through Chad and his team to get on my schedule. But if you're sitting on the fence going, maybe 2021 is the time I need to get some accountability in my life and I need to hire, but I don't know where to start, I want to be your go-to person. So let me know how I can help you change that and fix it going into the new year. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Chad. Hopefully everybody picked up a nugget or two that they can take with them today.
Can we take a few minutes for Q&A?
I'd love to.
Okay, cool. So if you guys got a question, just say me in the chat and I'll unmute you. And I just wanted to wrap this up, but we'll end with the Q&A. The core training has changed my life. It's people like Kendra that has poured into me. If you want to have a just private session with Kendra, learn more about the coaching, I can tell you my income has quadrupled. My bank accounts went up 5 times. My giving has went from 0 to 6 figures. That's what I'm most proud of. But it's getting to be around people like Kendra that we're just looking to grow more. It's changed my life. I know it can change yours. Kendra's the head coach, and I think the best realtor coach in all of the country. So it's a very special treat if you can connect with her one-on-one and learn more about the core. What I ask for is if you took one nugget out of today, just one that you know will help you make more money. I wrote down 4 that I wanted to share with you real quick. Power hour for 2 hours daily. Have it start your day. Visualize your day. Visualize what can go right and what can go wrong and prepare for both. Make sure my hourly rate's always going up. And then forward, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Always start conversations with clients that way. Those were my takeaways from today. So what I ask is if you took one thing from Kendra, we're looking to just work with realtors more like yourselves, people that want to grow, people that are professionals. So if you could do the loan officer that invited you onto the call, if you could do them one favor, could you introduce them to one realtor that is like you, that wants to grow, that wants to get better, that wants to have a partnership with a great lender? That would more than compensate for our time of having Kendra on. So Daniel had a question for you. I'm going to unmute Daniel. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, my question was just I missed on the Monday call the VIP calls. Can you just explain again what that group is?
Yes, so you're looking for people that can refer you multiple times in a year. So, and then your favorite people in your life. So that's kind of a big group there. But here, let me give you an example, okay? Daniel, if you had 50 people on your VIP list, you grow it to 50, and everybody on that list was able to refer you 4 times in a year. That's 200 leads, okay? We know from our tracking in the core that an average warm lead converts between 50 and 60% versus a cold lead that converts between 3 and 5%. All right. So we found you 200 leads and you convert 50% of them. That's 100 deals. That's probably more deals than most of us need to hit our goals in a year. Right. So even if we took that down and said, okay, they're colder leads, 200 leads, and we only convert 25% of them, you still got more deals than you had when you started. So the ultimate goal is to reach out to them. They're usually movers and shakers in your marketplace. So financial planners, divorce attorneys, private bankers, builders, lenders, loan officers, anybody that has the opportunity to refer you multiple times, and you're going to call them once a month, because the ultimate goal is to grow the list to 50 people and divide it in fours, and every Monday you call 1/4 of that list, and you're looking for leads, because guys, if movers and shakers are referring you, those leads are going to be a little warmer than just cold calling, right? So you can use that triangle for trust, which is something we use here in the core. If you know Dan and I know Dan, then Chad, you can trust me, right? So you use the triangle for trust. If you guys can see the video screen, a triangle has 3 sides, okay? So this is Chad, and this is Daniel, and I'm on the bottom. So Daniel, you know Chad, and I know Chad, but we got to figure out how to connect this. So when I'm calling you, I'm going to say, hey, I was referred to you by Chad. And Daniel, you're going to say, gosh, Chad's one of my best friends. Well, how do you know him? Well, we went to college together. Oh, well, I didn't meet Chad till later in life, but I love he and his wife and their kids. So, do you trust Chad? And Daniel says, of course. And I said, well, I trust Chad too. So hopefully we're going to be able to build a relationship where we trust one another as well. So if you can get them to refer you into any kind of lead, it's a warm referral. You can use that triangle for trust, and your conversion rate will go up. Does that help you, Dan?
Yes, that makes sense. Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for coming today.
Our friend Thomas, Tom Streff, one of our great realtors in Chicago, he wanted to know if using other platforms like a Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram has helped you to connect with people. So I'll let you answer.
Yeah, here's what I will tell you. I would say it's name recognition, yes. Thomas, so I think people following me, noticing that, hey, she does a good business. She, provides support for nonprofits. She puts on client parties, all of those things. Yes, that's somebody I want to be in business with. Can I literally tell you, people sit and say, I came to you because of, Twitter, or I came to you because of Facebook. I can't honestly tell you that. Never really tracked a huge group of business, but for me, it's more of branding and awareness versus selling on there. Because most of the people that follow me are realtors such as you all that I'm supporting with tips or tricks or whatever, or then personal friends or past clients that already know me and like me and trust me, so they follow me. So I'm not saying it's not a great tool, but I'm just saying for me, I use it more of branding and staying out in front of them. And even a lot of mine is, I see their little boy hit a home run, then I can send them a handwritten note with a $5 Sonic card. Or if somebody had a baby, we have a baby gift branded to Cooke Realty Partners, so that baby gift would go out. So a lot of mine is for marketing and branding and staying in touch.
Yeah, and I would just add to that. I think social media is our foot in the door. We can cheat a little bit on Ford and know more about their Ford without like having to do this whole deep dig. So I use it just to know, is their wife, what are their kids doing, know a little bit more about their family and their recreation. That's how I've been able to leverage it. But it's truly the relationships like Kendra talked about. It's the call from what you saw on Facebook. It's the handwritten note from what you saw on Facebook. It's still the relationship. Any other questions? We got time for one more. Just put me in the chat. If I don't see one here in about 15 seconds, I'm just going to wrap up. So, Kendra, I can just tell you, you've changed my life with this time blocking. I know, guys, this can seem a little overwhelming to incorporate all this. Take 2 to 3 things that Kendra talked about today. I love ending your day with intention of how your day starts the next day and planning your next day from the end of your day instead of coming in chaos. That's really helped me out. And I agree with her on the power hour for 2 hours. It's changed my life. It's changed my business. Just making sure I'm committed to prospecting 2 hours a day to keep that conveyor belt moving and to not have the robot break down at the beginning of the factory line.
Exactly.
So I will unmute it. I would love you all to give a huge round of applause for Kendra Cooke. Awesome job. Always a pleasure, Kendra. Thank you guys for tuning in. We recorded this and we will send it to you for future use. Thanks,
Thank
Kendra.
you,
Kendra.
Bye, guys. Thank y'all.